Welcome to the Private Practice with Soul podcast. My name is Dr. Brooklyn Storme, and I help private practice owners align their business back with their soul's calling, with their big vision and with their soul's purpose. Unlike other private practice coaches, I've traveled the world in search of spiritual resources, spiritual tools, education and information so that you can have the transformation that your soul desires and needs so that you can up-level your business. How much fun is this? I love it so much. Guys, if you're not already a member of the Private Practice Monthly Mentorship Group, please check out the show notes. I would love for you to be there. In the meantime, thank you so much for pushing play today. Let's begin. Happy Wednesday, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Private Practice with Soul podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Brooklyn Storme, and I want to say a very, 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 very big thank you to everybody that has subscribed, and welcome to our newest listeners. I had a notification on my phone last night that we now have 1,000 subscribers, and that is huge. And I just want to honor each and every person that listens, plays, downloads, and subscribes, because it just means so much to me to be able to share with you practice wisdom that I've accumulated over 25 years in private practice and 20 years as a psychologist, because it's my highest intention that you can learn from the mistakes that I made, and you can more easily step into the fullest expression of yourself when it comes to running a soul-led private practice. And as you know, we are all about how we can create that private practice for ourselves, even if it's more mainstream, through a spiritual lens. And so today, what I did was I put a post up in my group. It's the Private Practice Monthly Mentorship Group, just to say thank you to them, because I know a whole bunch of them listen, and they're just awesome women in that group. And I asked them for some ideas on content that I should put out for today in terms of celebrating this milestone of subscribers. And a few of them responded, and the common theme seemed to be around celebration and gratitude. And so I thought, brilliant. It's been a little while since we've spoken about gratitude, hasn't it? So what I thought today is would absolutely look at the concept of gratitude as a sacred and spiritual practice for your private practice. And for those of you who love evidence, this is going to be an episode for you to listen to as well, because gratitude is an evidence-based practice in the healing modalities. How cool is that? I love this stuff so much. So look, when I was preparing for the podcast today, I wanted to bring new and interesting information to this conversation, and I'm super excited to talk about some of that. And the first thing that I found was, the word gratitude has its roots in Proto-Indian Europe. And this is really interesting to me because I love linguistics. I love learning about language. But anyway, the root is gwere, Gwere. And gwere means to praise, to celebrate, and to be in contact with the divine. So in other words, being grateful is equivalent to feeling the presence of the divine energy in our lives. So divine energy, as you know, can mean spirit, source, your masculine and feminine. It might mean your high consciousness, God, whatever you like to refer to. But it's the same as being in a state of bliss. And isn't that so interesting? Because if you think about times in your life where you have truly felt grateful, truly felt thankful, can you recall feeling as if you were in a state of bliss? I can. And you know what? I found it when I was first learning about gratitude. I was like, oh my gosh, and I was very much in my head about it. I was very much in my wounded feminine and wounded masculine, and my attitude towards gratitude was horrible, honestly. Like I used to say things like, oh, why should I be grateful for things when I had a hard life? Or I'd say, I'm not going to be grateful for anything. I fought so hard to get to where I am. Like that's where I was. Now, I've evolved, which is wonderful. But now I'm grateful for all of the little things as well as the big things. I mean, even this morning, like my dog Gabe, he is my pride and joy. But the little fella, he's a Maltese cross Lhasa Apso. It's just him and I. I don't have children. I don't have a husband. Well, not a current husband. That's another story. So it's just he and I. And since we've been working from home over the last 6 months, we were already close, but our relationship has deepened. But he's getting a little bit long in the tooth now. And the poor little fella is 10 this year. And I took him to the vet a while ago just to have his, annual booster shots and everything. And then the vet brought him out and I said, how is he? And she said, oh, he's great. Of course, you know about his arthritis and his heart murmur. I said, no, I didn't know about the arthritis and the heart murmur. But the poor little fella, he's got arthritis in his wrists. And now I'm starting to notice, he's like moving around a bit more slowly. And we've got this routine where he likes to jump up on my bed at about 6 a.m. for a bit of a cuddle before we get up. Well, over the last couple of weeks, he hasn't been able to do that because of his arthritis. So I have to, get up and I scoop him up and I plop him down very gently onto the bed, and then I get back under the covers and I cover him over with his little blanket. And I just appreciate so much that I get to have that cuddle with him. And this morning when I woke up, he was on his back and his legs were in the air and everything. And I just looked down at him and I thought, oh my gosh, he's so cute. And I was just so full of gratitude. And he rolled over and then he saw that I was awake and he sort of commando crawled up towards the pillow and, we touched noses. And then he just sort of put his head down on the blanket in front of me and he was just looking at me with these great big brown eyes. And I just looked at him and it was like we had this soul connection moment. You know how you can do with dogs? And we just had this really powerful moment. I just looked at him and I just said to him, thank you so much for choosing me to spend your life with. He was a rescue dog. And when I went to get him, he was PTS, which is put to sleep. And he just hadn't been connecting with anybody at the pound. And I got him sort of very much at the 11th hour. It was like 5 minutes till closing time. But I just knew I had to have him. And it took him a little while to settle in. But now he's been great and we're so close. And I just thank him every day for choosing me because he's just brought so much into my life. And when I have those moments of just looking into his little eyes and I am just so full of love for him and I can feel his love for me and I'm so full of gratitude to him. And it is that moment of bliss. So when I was researching its definition, it made so much sense to me. And I think when we consider our soul and we consider spirituality and we think about manifesting, we often are reminded about the importance of raising our vibration, and the vibration of appreciation is the highest that you can attain. And that's so important because you want to be able to tap into that highest vibration when you're looking to consciously co-create with the universe things that you want to see in your private practice. And here's the thing, the more that you see that you can appreciate and the more that you can see to be grateful for, the more you're going to see. And this is also because neurologically what we know this from psychology and we know it from NLP and we know it from neuroscience, is that your brain will match your life to your beliefs, right? And your beliefs come from your thoughts, repeated thoughts. And so if you're not thinking about all the things that you've got, if you're only focusing on all the things you don't have, if you're saying, I don't have a fully booked diary, I don't have enough team, I don't have enough referrals, I don't have enough money coming in, then you're going to maintain that perpetual state of lack. And so here's the value in being able to cultivate that sense of appreciation, that sense of gratitude. It's going to help you, abundance begets abundance, okay? It's going to give you more and more and more things to feel appreciative of and to feel grateful for. And this is how you start to generate momentum in your practice. And you will start to see results with a gratitude practice in as little as a week. Honestly, and it doesn't take long at all. In fact, if you're a proponent of Jerry and Esther Hicks and their work with Abraham, then you'll also understand and be mindful that they say that you only need to be able to maintain this state for 60 seconds, not even. You've just got to do it once a day. And the fastest way to do that, of course, is through something like a gratitude rampage, because that'll really fire up the energy. So you can start from 0 and get yourself all the way up to 10 in a very short amount of time. And the simplest way to do that, I find, is to just start saying out loud as quickly as you can everything that you can think of that you're thankful for. Even if you're having a tough time of it and you're like, I've got nothing to be thankful for, then you go to the small things. So you say, I'm so thankful for my bed. I'm thankful for my coffee. I'm thankful for my MacBook. I'm thankful for that single client that has chosen me to be his or her therapist today. I'm thankful for, the stage 4 restrictions being lifted. I'm thankful for my practice being able to transition to online. I'm thankful for the blue sky. I'm thankful for the birds and the wildlife that are returning to my area. Now there's less cars on the road. I'm thankful for my lunch today. I'm thankful for Netflix. I'm thankful for the course that I'm studying, the time that I've got now available to complete it, whatever it is. But the trick, the thing that's going to accelerate your outcomes when it comes to appreciation and gratitude is building that momentum. And the quickest way to do that is to say things out loud as fast as you can, and don't stop until you run out of things to say. The other way that you can really amplify the results of gratitude, of course, is to keep a gratitude journal. And, we say to people, write down 3 things that you're thankful for. But if you want to get results more quickly, you just do stream of consciousness writing until you get it all out. And if it's pages and pages, you allow it to be pages and pages because it's joyful. It makes you feel good. It's going to raise your vibration, right? We want to get you into that state. And then from there, that's when you do your conscious co-creation. So if you're manifesting at the moment, that would be when you align your intention. That would be when you speak more about the goal that you're setting for that month, that week, that quarter, that year. We talk about more of this in the private practice method. And it's so important because without having that clear intention and that goal and the momentum of appreciation and gratitude behind it, it's just going to take you that much longer to achieve it. And then you're going to start doubting that you're doing it the right way and that manifesting works for you. When here's the thing, you're manifesting all the time, whether you're doing it consciously or not. But as I said before, everything that you're seeing in your practice today is a result. It's a manifestation of the thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors of yesterday. Right? Not yesterday, meaning last 24 hours, but like yesterday in terms of previous thoughts and behaviors and feelings that you had about different areas of your practice, okay? What else do I want to say about gratitude? Gratitude is amazing because also it is shown to reduce all kinds of symptoms in your physical body. Okay, so you have a physical body, you have a mental body, you have an emotional body, and you have a spiritual body. Now, different practitioners are going to use different words to describe those 4 bodies, but you've got 4 bodies. Okay, might be the first time some of you are hearing this. So welcome to the conversation. I just thought, let's go down this rabbit hole today. So anyway, you have this physical body, and the physical body is how your soul moves about in the world. And your physical body, in a way, gets information from the world through the 5 senses. In fact, that's the whole reason you've got 5 senses. Every bit of information you get comes from those, and it goes up to your brain where it's all processed, right? So that's your physical body. And in your physical body, of course, you've got your musculoskeletal system and everything else, your endocrine system, etc. Everything's in there. And one of the things that we know about gratitude is that it has benefits for your physical body. It lowers your blood pressure, it improves your immunity, it lowers cortisol levels by as much as 23%, it improves quality of sleep by more than 10%, and it lowers blood sugar levels by as much as 23%. All right, different research, different results, but on average, that's what it does. So very, 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 very powerful process, but you have to do it daily like anything. You can't diet for a day and lose your 5 kilos, right? The other thing is when it comes to that mental body, we know that, excuse me for just 1 second. We know that when your blood pressure begins to regulate itself and the quality of your sleep starts to get better, that then very naturally your mental health improves as well. This is because when your blood pressure is where it needs to be and you're getting a better quality sleep, cortisol, which is that stress hormone, is reduced in your body, okay? Also, gratitude reduces symptoms that are commonly associated with things like anxiety, depression, stress, and even substance abuse, okay? So it was an article that I came across that's published in a journal called Psychological Assessment that says that gratitude when practiced daily was found to be associated with a reduced lifetime risk of suicide, which, how cool is that, okay? And something else that I found was a researcher called Robert Emmons. He's a professor of psychology at the University of California, said that when we practice gratitude regularly, what ends up happening is we block emotions that are toxic, like envy, resentment, regret, and depression. And those things usually destroy our happiness. And when we do that, it's then impossible for us to feel envious and grateful at the same time. Make sense? So even when we're talking about gratitude, we're talking about the feminine energy here. We're talking about being, we're talking about moving, we're talking about flow, all of those sorts of beautiful things. It's not about action, it's about being, it's about seeing, it's about acknowledging, all of those sorts of things, okay? We don't do gratitude, we be grateful. Makes sense? That's why it's feminine. And there are so many ways that we can cultivate feelings of gratitude. The other thing too is that gratitude also is associated with this idea of being forgiven and redemption. It means also like a blessing, a gift, or a favor. It means we want to give and receive fully and abundantly in order to be in our divine feminine flow. So giving and gifting are very sacred practices in any form that you choose to use them, okay? It's as much about the intention as it is about the act. Some of the ways that you can embody gratitude for your private practice is to, first of all, get into your divine feminine energy, which is about being open to receiving, okay? The divine is about receiving. Now, if you've got blocks up, you're not going to receive. If you're in your masculine energy all of the time, you're not going to be receiving the abundance that's divinely yours because you're not allowing it to come in, okay? So we want to be able to be open to receiving by doing something little, just like saying thank you. And again, I touched on this previously, but you can begin with little things like a compliment. If somebody says that's a nice top, or you look pretty today, or I like your hair today, or something like that, I love your practice, you just say thank you instead of dismissing and deflecting and deleting and distorting information that's coming to you. And the more that you get used to saying thank you for things, the more things will come to you to say thank you for, right? How cool is that? That's what I mean. Abundance begets abundance. It's really just one of the most amazing things, but you're not going to see it unless you're paying attention to it. What you focus on grows, okay? Where focus goes, energy flows. The other thing too is when somebody gives you something, maybe it's a compliment, maybe it's a little posy of flowers, maybe it's a little thank you card. It's really important to receive that gift with authenticity, you know. Don't fluff over it and give fake oh, this means so much to me. If it doesn't, like, don't go over the top. Be genuine in your thanks, okay? Because we want to acknowledge what's been done here. We want to acknowledge the action of the person, and we want to acknowledge everything that went into them, like giving you that thing. For example, last year a client gave me a card and I was so surprised by it, and it was a coaching client and it just arrived in the mail and I was so surprised by it. And I stopped and I thought about everything that went into that. She had to go to the shop. She had to choose a card. She probably looked at many cards and she found that that one was probably the best one for me. She thought I would really appreciate that card. And then she took it back to the office, I imagine. And then she sat down and she probably thought very much about what she wanted to say. And she thought about how she was going to write it. And then she had to, address the envelope, go and buy a stamp, walk down to the post office, post the envelope, not tell me that she'd done it because she wanted it to be a surprise. Do you know what I mean? There were all these steps that went into it. And so when I acknowledge that, of course I want to do that with authenticity. And here's the thing, the universe is also going to acknowledge if you're being inauthentic, and it's not going to give you more nice things to be heartfelt in your gratitude and appreciation for, okay? The other thing to remember is gratitude is about really leaning into surrender, trust, and faith in whatever it is that you believe in. Now, for me, I believe very, very much in energy, and I believe very, very much in this concept of higher consciousness or expanded awareness or my higher self, right? So, and I very, very, very much believe that the universe has a plan. And I believe that when I'm not on the right track, the universe is going to give me signs or roadblocks or things like that when I'm missing the when I'm missing the point. Okay. And that's the universe saying, hey, no, you need to come over here and everything's going to be just fine. I know that I'm resourceful and I know everything's going to work out fine, but it's by me trusting. That's what faith is. It's trusting, it's believing that everything is going to work out. If I didn't have that belief, then I would have a very different experience of private practice. Okay. I have learned to lean into my faith in the universe by understanding that there are no mistakes for me in my business. There are no bad things that happen for me in my business. I know now that when things happen that at the time are a surprise or they aren't wanted, I know now to let myself ride out that emotion. And when I'm calmed down, look at, okay, what's the universe trying to tell me here? What do I need to know? And it's by transmuting the energy like that, by taking something that feels yucky and uncomfortable, transmute that energy by taking a lesson from it. When you take the lesson from it, you raise your vibration. When you take that lesson, it makes you a better practice owner. It makes you a better businesswoman. It makes you a better director, right? It makes you better for your clients. It makes you better for your team. It makes you better for everybody who's connected with your business. And so there's gratitude in that. And then that gratitude turns to appreciation. And next thing you know, you've got a very high vibration. And then guess what? More things are coming into the practice now for you to be thankful about, okay? Something else that you can do is to cultivate gratitude is to be really present. Be very, very present when you're doing it. Doesn't matter if you're in direct client work. You want to be very present, listening in, tuning into the energy, tuning into the vibe of the room, not jumping in, not offering your suggestions, not oversharing from your experience in your space, but being so present for that client that they feel like they're the only client on the planet, right? It's something that I strive to do every single day. If I get a communication from a coaching client, if I get a communication from someone who posts a comment in my group, if I get an email from a client, I want that person to feel like they're my number one priority. And so for that reason, I will respond as quickly as I can from a place of my highest intention. And I will honor that person by always, what I'll do in the morning is before I start work, I draw a card from one of my decks. So I've got like a million decks. I've just bought another one. It's called Postcards from Spirit. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Hopefully it will arrive sometime in the next week or two. Yes, I'm so excited to get it. But I will take guidance from a card in the morning, and I will say something like, what do my clients need to hear from me today? Or how do they need me to show up for them today? Or in what way could I be most present for my clients today? Or do you know what I mean? So I'll have some client focus, and then I'll try and anchor into that whenever I respond to my clients throughout the day. And so that's my way of being aligned with their energy, aligned with where they're at in that day. And it's my way of being really, really present for my clients. So even though I've got many of them, hopefully, most of the time, most of them would feel like I'm pretty quick to respond, and that they feel like, yeah, they're a priority. So that's how I do it. But you might have your own way of what being present looks like for you and your clients, or for you and your practice, and really start thinking about a way that you can begin embodying that gratitude and embodying appreciation into each and every session that you have with your clients. And that can be something simple, you don't have to overthink this, but it can be something simple, like when they first come in and sit down, you might say to them something like, I really appreciate you being here today, right? Or you could say that at the end, or you could put a note of appreciation on the bottom of all of your invoice templates, right? Or on the bottom of your receipts. You could have a loving kindness affirmation that expresses, gratitude for them, and that honors, them for showing up and doing the work. Like something little like that goes a very long way. So you think about, for you, what might work. So being present, it's probably one of the best ways that you can begin to embody gratitude in your practice. Something else that you can try and do is spend time, day to day, reflecting on all of the things that you've received for the practice that day. All of the things. Maybe you received a really nice, like yesterday, oh my gosh, yesterday a client reduced me to tears because she sent me the most beautiful message on Messenger, and it was so kind. And I got it while I was driving. I had been out and about. So yesterday here it was Tuesday. And I had to go and get my mum. So I'm a carer for my mum. And so I had to go and get my mum. And, it's like a pretty stressful time at the moment with everything that's going on in the world and with COVID and all that sort of stuff. And, worry about my mum. And so anyway, I just pulled up at my mum's place. And I checked my phone before I got out of the car, and there was this really beautiful message, and I just burst into happy tears. It was so unexpected, and it was so nice, and I just wanted to print it off and frame it. I will never forget what she said to me. Her words were so powerful, and I just appreciated her so much in that moment. And I think one of the things that we can all do is acknowledge all of the good things. So it might be a message that you've got from your client to say that, they had a shift as a result of working with you. You might make a note of emails that you got from clients where they were thankful, any comments that they gave you, any phone messages that they left you, any breakthrough moments that you had with clients that you're grateful for, any light bulb moments that your clients had in sessions with you today, hiring a new team member, getting good quality applications in for people who are wanting to work with you. Maybe you're grateful for all the fees that were received today, money that landed into the practice bank account. Maybe you want to be thankful that clients are still turning up to appointments even though you've had to go online. Maybe you might be thankful for your pretty much fully booked diary. right? There's so much going on in your practice, and a lot of the time we just get focused on the masculine thing of our to-do list and what do we need to do. But here's the thing, when you do that, all that's going to happen is you'll tick a lot of things off, you'll carry things over to tomorrow, and that list never goes away. Right? Whether it's a list in your diary or you've got a to-do notepad, it doesn't matter. Like, you're always going to have this to-do list. It ain't going anywhere. And by focusing on your to-do list and getting into that doing energy, and I've got to do this and do that and do this and do that, you're not allowing yourself to be in the feminine being energy where you're going to be receiving. So what you might want to do is, even perhaps if you block off lunchtime, maybe you block off 12 to 1, say, maybe make a note in your diary, in your practice management software within that hour, that you're going to do a bit of gratitude work. And get out your gratitude journal, or sit down and just close your eyes and count all of your blessings that day. Even if it's little things like waking up with your dog. That's not a little thing. I love this stinker so much. Oh my goodness, he's too cute. I can't stand it. But anyway, you think about all of those things. And when you do this every day, what will happen is you'll begin to look forward to it. And the reason that you'll begin to look forward to it is because it gives you a really nice feeling. And that nice feeling can be very addictive. Who doesn't want to feel nice? And guess what? It's calorie free. How cool is that? And it's addictive in a really good way, in a really, 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 really positive way. Okay, so lots of content there. But the other thing that I might suggest is, if you have trouble seeing the abundance, if you're having trouble identifying things to be thankful for in your practice, if you're just in that state at the moment where it all feels too hard and I'm giving you just something else to do, that might be an indication in itself that there's a story going on for you that perhaps is blocking you from being in that receiving energy. And so for you guys, perhaps grab out your journal and ask yourself, what do I need to know right now about receiving? And just see what comes through. What do I need to know right now about receiving? And another prompt for you might be, what do I need to know right now about how to get into receiving mode? And just ask the questions and see what comes through for you. For those of you who are in a space where you are ready to start doing some gratitude work, set it up as a daily practice and do it for yourself as a 7-day challenge and see what happens. And let me know, this time next week, I hope to get emails from you guys about your gratitude practice and how it went for you, and if you had a shift or a light bulb moment and all that sort of good stuff. All right. So I hope that you loved this episode. I just want to say how grateful I am for you, for listening, for downloading, for subscribing, for engaging. Thank you to those of you that do send me emails and review it and comment. I really appreciate it. I just got a notification this morning as well that the podcast is now available on iHeartRadio, which is super cool. I don't know how that happened, but yes, so you can listen on there as well if you like. And I've got something very exciting that's happening mid-September, so keep your eyes out for that. If you have a girlfriend who's in private practice or looking to start private practice and she's like us, she's a bit into the spiritual stuff, please put her onto the podcast because I want her to feel supported as well. And that's my highest intention, to make sure that you guys all have the tools and the support that you need to be able to create those soul-led private practices that you want to create. So thank you again for listening. Welcome to the new subscribers. Have a beautiful Wednesday, everybody. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Private Practice with Soul podcast today. If you're looking for clarity, if you need help with branding, your processes, and bringing everything into alignment with your soul's purpose for your private practice, head to the show notes and click the link for more information about the Private Practice Monthly Mentorship going to love it. I can't wait to see you in there. Thanks so much for listening. Bye.